everybody, and welcome to the Paws for Stitches podcast. My name is Candy, and I am coming to you from Wilmington, New York at the moment. I am sitting here on my bed, well, on a little corner of the bed because there is so much stuff surrounding me right now in preparation to share a bunch of things with you guys. So I'm excited. I hope everybody's got some knitting with them. Maybe have a nice drink, cup of tea, cocktail, whatever your choice might be. So settle in and hopefully we'll have fun hanging out together for a little bit. Welcome to anyone who is new to the podcast. I'm super glad that you found me and found us. And I hope that you'll decide to come back. For those of you who did make that decision to come back, thank you so much. It's great to have you back. And of course, as always, I just like to remind people that if you think that this is a podcast you might want to watch again, go ahead and click that lovely red subscribe button on YouTube, and that way you'll find out whenever a new episode might have been posted. So anyway, it is Sunday night, August 21st. In the last episode, I was getting a little bit cheesy and talking about how excited I was that I was kind of approaching 100 subscribers, the big 100, which for me, I had said that was a big deal. And I still think it is. And I am so excited to say that I think the last time I checked earlier today, I think it was either 114 or 115. Sometimes, I don't know, it's hard to tell if like somebody actually did subscribe or not. But I'm gonna go with 114 just to, be on the safe side in case, somebody changed their mind and decided not to subscribe. So I had said that, all of these amazing podcasters give away prizes and things when they get to, 500, 1,000, 2,000, in the case of some of these people, like 9 billion subscribers. But just to say, though, how much I appreciate the fact that 114 of you actually took the time to subscribe and took the time to watch this podcast, I had said, I have no shame. I want to give a little something to somebody. So what I did was I picked up, while we were in town the other day, I picked up something from the local yarn shop up here in Lake Placid, which is called Adirondack Yarns. It's a great little yarn shop. If you're ever in Lake Placid, definitely check it out. But they actually have a yarn by the name of, it's called Spirited Fibers, and they have this actually dyed for their shop. And it's a beautiful yarn. She actually has, this is the heavier weight. This is 100% hand washable merino. But they have the heavy weight, and then they also have a fingering weight. And I know when I was in there the other day, Sue was telling me they really want to expand their fingering weight selection. But I've worked with this yarn many, many times, and it's, oh my God, it's so squishy and soft and delightful. And right now, I feel like I want to give this to somebody just to say, again, thank you for subscribing to this podcast. And this is, I can't describe it. I get that these are numbered colors. This happens to be the lovely number 40. It's probably not showing up great because I'm in the bedroom today. Well, that's a little better. It's kind of like an eggplant sort of color. I think this would make great. I think you could probably get a real nice squishy warm hat out of this. And we're getting close to that season. So here's what I'm going to do. I've never done, obviously, this before, so we'll see how this goes. But if you are interested in winning this skein of Spirited Fibers yarn, what I'd like you to do, if you wouldn't mind, is just put a comment down below, after watching this video, and tell us, since this I told you guys I got from my favorite, what's kind of a local yarn shop to us since we're up here pretty often now, but, long ago when we used to vacation up here, it was my, vacation go-to yarn shop. So that's what I want you guys to do. Put a comment, just put a little comment down below, and maybe, just say a sentence or two, a few words about an awesome vacation yarn shop that you guys may have been to somewhere along the way in your travels. So, and then I will go ahead and figure out how to draw a random winner from that, and then figure out how to contact whoever the winner is and send you this awesome skein of spirited fibers. So hopefully that just, shows you guys again how much I appreciate you coming back and subscribing and taking the time to hang out with me for a little bit. So that's that. Anyway, two things happened to me between the last time I saw you and now that were awesome and that were sort of surprising to me, because there are things that they are both, I guess I would call them podcaster firsts for me. The first of which happened last weekend. Jamie and I were at the Keene Valley Farmers Market up here, which is one of our favorite things to do. They have it every Sunday. I talked about it, I think, on the last episode a little bit, but we love going to the farmers market, and we were actually going to find some, we were still looking for some pictures and decorations and things to hang in the house. So we were there, and we're standing there together, looking at these pictures, and all of a sudden I hear a woman's voice saying, "Candy? Jamie?" And I turn around and I look at this woman, and there was something definitely familiar about her face, but I was embarrassed to admit that I don't know who this is. And then all of a sudden it became clear when she followed that with, "I know you guys from the podcast." And sure enough, this amazing, lovely viewer, Val, what a sweetie. She came over, and we must have stood there talking to Val, actually, and her husband, Randy, for several minutes. And it was so fun. It was just so great to actually meet somebody face to face, and be able to just chit chat for a few minutes, in the middle of a farmer's market of all places. So podcaster first for me, that was awesome. So I hope that happens again from time to time. I would imagine that is more likely to happen at, fiber festivals and things like that, but like totally out in the wild, that was pretty cool for me. So that was my first awesome little podcaster first. The second happened partly as a result of some of I'm going to talk later about the shameful, absolutely shameful shopping that I have been doing these last few weeks, maybe 2 weeks or so. And the other podcaster first happened when I got 2 awesome packages in the mail this week because of things I had ordered. So I want to show you some stuff because I still am absolutely blown away by this. So anyway, a little while ago, I've talked about her project bags before. Roberta, who is Steel City Stitcher. I always have trouble saying that. Good thing I don't have to say it really fast. These bags are amazing. And I was sitting there, it was actually right around the time the Olympics were starting. It might have even been maybe opening ceremony night. She posted on Instagram this bag. Okay, how can I not purchase a bag with patriotic pups on it? How cute is that? And as you can see, there you go. Even the little zipper pull has the little paw on it. Now I just messed it up again. There it is. The zipper pull has the paw. And, as I've said before, one of the other things that I love about Roberta's bags, they're incredible. They're beautifully made. I love the red lining in here. But she always also gives you this adorable little notions pouch that actually fits right into one of the pockets in the bag. So I was so excited. I knew I was getting this. I actually wanted to keep a special project in there that I knew I was going to be doing a lot of Olympic knitting while I was working on this project, and I couldn't wait for this to come. But you guys, seriously. So Jamie says to me, Jamie actually got the package, and he made some kind of funny comment like, "So I guess you needed some project bags." And I looked at him, I'm like, "Well, yeah, I ordered a project bag, but okay. I always need project bags. We all need project bags. There's never enough project bags in the world." So when we finally got home and I actually got to open the package and see everything, I opened a beautiful note from Roberta, who had shared that she was going to throw in some extra goodies. So she actually also gave me this dog bag. Holy cow. Look at good dog, stay, sit. How cute is this bag? So cute. Again, same thing, open up. She's got an adorable little zipper pull and the adorable matching little notions pouch as well. Look at the inside lining of this though, you guys. I love the paw prints, just like the top of the bag. So cute. No, that wasn't it. So this one supposedly Roberta threw in there for me, but she didn't stop there. No, she did not. She also, I think people must still think Jamie has a complex from his tissue box incident with his knitting. So she actually threw in, check out this manly looking project bag for Jamie. Okay. It is like camouflage. Look at that. Drawstring. Okay. Remember what I talked about last time? We talked about going Niking. Look at this. They even has a little thingy hooked on it there. He can latch that sucker right to his backpack and bring his sock knitting along with him. So he does now. Jamie has this awesome camouflage bag. But is that it? No, that's not it. Also, Roberta said she threw in a little something for you guys. So later on when we talk about giveaways and such, you'll be able to see, I'm giving you a sneak peek at one of the prizes for the upcoming Knit Along might be. And it is this awesome rainbow bag. Check that out. Look at that, you guys. So cute. Once again, look at this. I love the zipper pull on this one. It's so adorable. So much fun. And again, same thing. You open it up, and there you go. This little notions pouch is a little bit different. This is a flat one, but it's so cute. Just a really perfect size to put some little goodies in and things that you're working on with a particular project. I didn't mention this for the other ones, but she also always throws in, I'm not going to take this out and open it, but she also throws in some little stitch markers. There's always a pickle involved. There is always a pickle involved from Roberta, which I absolutely adore. And she says that that's from the Heinz factory in Pittsburgh. So anyway, Roberta, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you for, again, your bags are amazing. I can't wait to have more of them. And I'm so excited now that one of our lucky viewers is going to get that awesome rainbow bag at some point too. So thank you so much for your generosity there. So not only did Roberta surprise me, but I got a surprise from, would this be considered over the pond? I guess sort of. I also had my eye on something. I know I've talked about Barbara before. Barbara, who is the host of the Knitting I Love podcast and just absolutely adorable. Barbara has, if you've not seen them, she makes these incredible they're kind of like pouches to hold your needles. And I had been eyeing the circular needle pouch, okay, that I really, really, really wanted. So I knew I wanted to buy one for myself. What was great too is it came with one of the knitting coasters, which actually serves also as a needle sizer. And then she also always has these little, I'm going to just hold one of these up for you guys too. These little guys, if you could see that, these are the Progress Keeper holders that you can totally hook all of your little Progress Keepers to. In fact, I actually have a sample from something else that she sent me, but it looks kind of like this when you have that on there, right? How awesome is that? Okay, so Barbara, thanks to you now, I have actually not only one, but I have 3 Progress Keeper holder thingies. And I didn't actually bother to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say roughly 24-ish Progress Keepers can fit on one of these. Now I just want to buy more Progress Keepers. So thanks for that. No, seriously, I actually can't wait to buy more Progress Keepers to put on there. What I had done though is I knew that I wanted to buy a set like this for you guys as a prize. So I did. I got an orange set. I purchased an orange set for you guys, but guess what? when the package arrived, there were 2 extra little goodies in there. Barbara put in a little extra something for me, which was an extra, look, another pretty pink coaster. This was the other thing that I showed you. These are her Flower Power Progress Keeper / stitch markers, which are awesome. If you actually slide up the little flower there, I'm probably not doing a great job showing this, but if you can see at least a little bit, now this part actually opens up and it has a hole, and you can actually use it as a stitch marker as well. So pretty genius. But Barbara threw in a prize for you guys too. Okay, so she actually threw in another coaster and a Progress Keeper holder for you guys as well. So another podcaster first for me. Holy cow, I can't believe it. I'm so excited. We are going to have some things to give away. So this should be fun. I think this is going to be totally so much fun. So again, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Barbara, and thank you so much to Roberta. If you haven't watched Barbara's podcast, Knitting I Love, go check it out. And if you haven't treated yourself to a project bag lately, go check out Steel City Stitcher on Instagram. Or on Etsy. I think you will find, I also think, I could be wrong, but I think I've seen that she does special bags. Like if you have something special in mind too, I think she can hook you up with that as well. So thank you both ladies, and I'll be very excited to give away the prizes that you so generously shared. All right, moving right along. I am going to jump right into the knitting stuff because there's a lot. I haven't seen you guys in, I guess it's actually been over 2 weeks, because I think I uploaded my last episode on a weird day, sort of like in the middle of the week, which might happen this time as well. I'm not sure. But I want to go ahead and start off by talking about a couple finished objects, one of which I left at home. I left back in New Jersey when we came up to the cabin this weekend, and when I realized it halfway up here and we were driving the car, I was so mad. So instead, in a moment, I'm going to treat you to a little finished object music video, if you will. Since I don't have the live finished object to show you, I'm gonna, mix it up a little bit and make this kind of fun, because the finished object I'm talking about, some of you have possibly seen it already. I've posted probably far too many pictures of this on Instagram, but it is my Carson shawl by Romy Hill Designs. And this is the project, for those of you who don't remember, this is the project that really got me through several weeks of some stressful time in the hospital with Jamie. So for that reason alone, I definitely think this faux is always going to hold a very special place in my heart, no pun intended. But not only that, but it probably is one of the prettiest shawls that I have had the pleasure of making. So I definitely want to take a moment to pause and introduce you to the completed Carson. So how about that, you guys? Isn't she a beauty? I love her. I'm thinking about her right now and wishing that I had her here, because I would totally wrap her right around my shoulders, because the fan above me is blowing on me and it actually would feel good. But I am really excited about this project. So thank you for humoring me and, not minding all the millions of times I've talked about it over the last 2 months. But I'm super excited that Carson shawl is done, and I'm loving her. I don't know why I just decided that a shawl is a her. I don't know. I guess I have to think about that. but it just sounded right coming out of my mouth. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to share, though, holy cow, this was like the best couple weeks ever. So I ran into Val and Randy at the farmer's market. I got the bags from Roberta. I got the goodies, the extra goodies from Barbara. And then the best thing ever happened. Actually, was it just yesterday? It might have even just been yesterday. I was checking my Instagram, and all of a sudden I looked down to see that Melissa of the Spicy Homemaker podcast had posted the winner of her cardiac read-along sort of pop-up giveaway that she had done on Instagram. All you had to do was post a picture of something, of a finished object that you had completed that somehow involved working with red or pink yarn. She's actually co-hosting this cardiac read-along with the lovely ladies of the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast. And she does these little pop-up giveaways from time to time. And what you had to do was post I think she just referred to it as kind of a pretty picture of your finished object. So, of course, I posted one of the pictures of my Carson shawl that you just saw. You probably saw one of them in that little montage. And yeah, guess who was the winner? That would be me. And, oh my gosh, what I won, one of the talk about wanting project bags really badly, and lots of them. I actually am going to be receiving my Bags by Awesome Granny. I always think I'm going to say that wrong. Hopefully that was right. If not, I will put it correctly at the bottom there. I don't have any of these bags, but the one that Melissa will be sending my way, it is enormous. Holy cow, I'm going to put in a picture of it right here. It is enormous. When I took that picture, the bag took up like the whole TV screen. That's how big the bag was. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. Not only that, but I got to pick from two different skeins of yarn. And I picked a Leading Men Fiber Arts skein. Another yarn that I've not tried yet is coming my way. I'm so excited. And not only that, but I think Melissa said that also there are some stitch markers or progress keepers, I can't remember, from Knitty by Nature that she's throwing in for this prize as well. It is a ridiculously generous giveaway prize. Oh my goodness, I can't even believe it. So Melissa, thank you so much. I can't wait. And the rest of you, I'm sorry, you're going to have to hear about this again when that bag comes, because there ain't no way that bag is not getting a little camera time on this podcast. So stay tuned for that. All right, moving on to another finished object, believe it or not. It's actually been a pretty productive couple weeks of knitting for me, I would say. I guess technically this one's not finished yet because I still have to block it and weave in two little measly ends. But my Spindrift shawl is also complete. Actually, I don't even know if maybe I had barely cast it on the last episode. I can't remember. But this is the Spindrift shawl by Helen Stewart, who is the host of the audio podcast, Curious Handmade, which I absolutely love. And Helen's pattern was amazing. It was so easy and simple to follow. This was a classic example of a shawl that was really very simple in terms of its complexity and knitting it. But the little bit of detail where you have to do a little bit more work is what makes this shawl. So here we go. I'm going to kind of show you. This is obviously, it's just a lot of straight sort of stockinette, but then look at that at the bottom. Okay, that just goes on for the entire shawl. I don't know if I'm going to, as you can see, it's not blocked yet, so it's still really curling up on me, but it is so, so lovely. And this yarn, which I think I've talked about, and I know I've showed it to you guys before, this is Black Cat Custom Yarns in her Overwatch colorway. So I was very, very pleased with the hand of this yarn. It was really nice to work with. It is super soft and squishy. This thing is just going to be like a hug around my neck. There is no doubt in my mind about that. So again, here you go. Spindrift shawl, done. Boom. Another project finished. I'm so excited about that. And as you can see, Addie got her modeling career back again with the completion of this shawl. I'm going to put in a little picture there for those of you who may not have seen it already on Instagram. So that's that. Last thing, well, no, two more things I actually have to show you. This, I guess I'm kind of cheating. Some of these things are technically not totally finished, but we're going with it anyway. I'm not going to talk a lot about the jar along today because we're still in the middle of our August basket of sunshine, okay? But just very, very quickly, if you don't know what the jar along is, it is a knit along that I am co-hosting with Jen Sheelan of the Jen Sheelan podcast. And basically, you knit a Jen Sheelan jar. And we're featuring different jars every month. And in the month of August, the feature jar is the Basket of Sunshine. I'm going to insert a picture here of a totally completed one, which I totally stole from Jen's page. But I actually did get the chance, I'm just going to take the lid off this. I don't even know why I have a lid on there. I did get the chance to finish my Basket of Sunshine, which is obviously, as you can see, basket coming from the fact that it has this really fun, simple, but really sweet basket weave pattern that works up through the whole mason jar cover. What I do still have to finish, and that's why everything is still all hooked together here. I'm just going to put that back in there for now. What I do have to finish is actually, as you can see from the other picture, this is going to have a really cute I-cord handle that goes along with it. So I just need to work on that, and I actually need to find a couple buttons then to fasten to the sides with that I-cord so it'll be complete. I'm actually planning on giving this to my mom, who every year, a women's group that she belongs to, they do a fundraiser, and my mom is always asking me, you know, if I would mind making a little something to donate for that. So I think that's what this is going to go to this year because I think it's very pretty. I really do. I think these jars are lovely, and if you haven't checked out the jar along, I encourage you to do so because now you've obviously already seen a sneak preview of some of the upcoming prizes that will be given out. In fact, by the end of August, because of my whole craziness with life and my schedule last year, I never drew for a July prize. So at the end of August, I'm going to be pulling a winner for one winner, actually two winners in the combined July/August thread that is open up in the Paws First Stitches Ravelry group. So go check that out if you're interested. So I'm excited. Finished out another almost finished object for me, which will get sent hopefully and end up in a lovely home somewhere at some point. But I'm happy with it anyway, and I definitely would like to make one that Jamie and I can keep for ourselves. Okay, last thing. On the last episode, I talked to you guys a little bit about my sock blank adventure. I'm not going to go into a tremendous amount of detail about that, but I do have a finished object, which is sock blank number 2, which has now been dyed. And if you recall, I had mentioned on the last episode that there were a couple new things that I wanted to tweak and try when I dyed up this next blank, and I was able to do that. I did use citric acid instead of the vinegar, but probably the more important thing that I tried was using guar gum. I'm going to spell that down here for you guys because it just, every time that comes out of my mouth, it sounds nuts. Guar gum. I used it as a thickening agent with the black, when I made up the black dye, because what happened with my first sock blank is that when I did the lettering, when I did the stenciling, I felt like the darker color kind of bled and ran into the yellow a little bit. So I wanted to see, and after doing some research and getting some help and guidance from some folks and things that I read, people suggested trying this. And I actually think it worked pretty well. So as I mentioned, even though I am not going to need 5 pairs of Hamilton colored or Hamilton themed socks, I'm sticking with the yellows and golds and the 3 different colors of dye that I purchased because I feel like if I'm doing this as a learning experiment or a learning experience, It'll be harder to compare what I've learned and what I've tweaked each time if I'm changing up the colors and doing something totally different. So I modified the intensity of the colors a little bit differently, and I used some different techniques getting the dye onto the blank, but here we go. Another Hamilton one. History has its eyes on you, baby. All right. Those of you, I'm sorry. I wonder if there ever will be an episode that happens where I don't mention Hamilton. It might happen sometime. But this actually, I'm really pleased at how this actually, I'm going to try and hold it up a little bit closer so you can see it there. So you can really see there's very, very little, if any, running or bleeding with the lettering. By the way, I actually didn't even use a stencil this time. I just used a paintbrush and kind of got the letters on there myself very, very carefully. Can I tell you that my biggest fear in doing these sock blanks is spelling something wrong by accident? Because I just, mistakes happen, things happen. I'm a pretty decent speller, but you just never know. So anyway, I'm really excited about this. I'm trying to decide what to do with this blank and perhaps the next, 2 or 3 that I will do that are still going to be sort of along this Hamilton theme. So I feel like maybe they need to go out into the world to someone else. I do know a couple other people out there that like Hamilton very much. So I don't know. I might surprise somebody else and just kind of send them a thank you sock blank. So we'll see how that goes. But I just wanted to show you guys what came of that. I have to tell you though, we'll talk a little bit about this when I show you my Hamilton socks. I have the double sock blank, which means you can do 2 socks at a time, and you're pulling actually from two different pieces of yarn. So I don't know. It's not that I don't like sock blanks. I'm not saying that. But I feel like I need better strategy or something with managing the yarn or keeping things less tangled. Mine keeps kind of getting like rolled up the two, the 2 yarns kind of get rolled on each other, if that makes any sense. So we'll see. We got to work through that, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. So that's that. So that's it, I think, for finished objects. I'm excited. I think I've been, cruising along, getting some stuff done. So now what I want you to do is move on to, and it's funny, where'd it go? I had the segue, I just didn't take it. So the next thing I actually wanted to talk about anyway was my Hamilton socks that I started from the first sock blank that I dyed. So I actually am keeping those in my Steel City Stitcher bag. The reason I bought this for this whole like patriotic Olympic type bag was because I thought I was going to participate more, I don't know, I guess studiously in the Ravelinics this year. And I know you're supposed to pick like a project or something, that you're working on or you're trying, sort of, and then you end up in an event and that kind of thing. So there was definitely a sock related event. I think it was actually called the Sock Put, if I'm not mistaken. So what I thought I would do for the Ravelinics was to work on my 2 at a time Hamilton socks from my Hamilton blank, because I kind of figured the event for me was sort of the dyeing experiment, and then also I've done 2 at a time socks before, but definitely not off of a sock blank like this. So I figured, all right, well, this could give me a good excuse to try something new. So anyway, let me take this out. For those of you, real quick, just to see, it's interesting. Look at okay, here's the first sock blank, right? And here's the second. Can you see the difference? Yeah, you definitely can see the difference in color. So that actually, and you really can see, look at the upside down W that I've got going on there. Look at how crisp the letters are now that I've worked with the guar gum. So awesome. I love guar gum. Thank you so much, guar gum, for coming into my life. But anyway, so here's my sock blank. But what I really wanted to show you is this crazy spaghetti mess that I have going on here. And I will just show you how the socks are knitting up. See what I mean about the twisting on itself? I don't have enough hands to sort of show you the pain that I kind of have to go through every time here, maybe I can hold this up. See how this is here? Like every single time. So that's why these are taking me forever, because they get stuck right around there and you have to unroll them and then start all over again. But all that aside, I'm not complaining about it. It's still been a lot of fun to work on it, but I think they're really working out pretty cool. All right. So I am excited about these, but like I said, there is no way I am going to need more than one pair of crazy yellow and black socks. So I definitely will be thinking about who to send that other sock blank to. And I'm really excited about this project. I'm definitely going to keep working on it. Aside from the tangly mess thing that's going on, obviously it's a perfect thing to be working on in the car, or even just when I'm sitting and watching television, stuff like that. So we're going to kind of keep that moving and grooving if I can. All right, next up. All right, that's the work in progress. That's that. Oh, this is cool. All right. The next thing I want to tell you about actually also has something to do with stuff that I purchased, but I need to change my glasses though for this. Hang on one second. This is very serious. I need different glasses for this next thing that I'm going to show you guys, and I think in a moment you will understand why. Let's rewind. Those of you who have seen previous episodes, you may remember I talked about my mother, and actually you may have even met my mom if you watched the episode where I was down visiting my parents, and I did a little filmed a few minutes with my mom, and we did some show and tell with all the stuff that I've knit for her. Lots of stuff I've knit for her over the years. And the one thing I hope you remember is that she is a tan lady. That is for sure. And this is a tan lady who loves to wear bright colors, and her favorite bright color is green. So when I was in Adirondack Yarns the other day, I guess this was a couple weeks ago, they had, and I've actually always wanted to knit with the Euroflax, the linen yarn, but I hope you guys are ready for this. Seriously, I apologize in advance. It is just crazy. It is crazy, I tell you. Wow. Wow. Behold. Feast your eyes on that color. Holy cow. Yeah. Knitting with this is going to keep me awake, I think. That's for sure. I wanted to show that to you guys because this is actually, Jamie is going to hand wind this for me later tonight, because I think I might cast this on later as we're just hanging out together for a little while, because we're not going home till tomorrow. But this is it. This crazy bright green bad boy is going to, I actually have 2 skeins of this. And what it's going to be, let me get my normal glasses back on for that. I just, couldn't resist because it is bright, seriously. But what I'm going to be making for my mom, I apologize, I actually don't even have a picture of it. One of the things I always like about Adirondack Yarns is that they usually have tons of beautiful things on display. Different store samples that they've knit up just to go along with the yarn that they sell. So what this is actually, it's just a very loose and open sort of loosely flowing top. I've actually never made anything like that for my mom before, which of course as I'm talking about this, I'm totally realizing that she's going to know about this now. But she does. I think I already kind of showed her jokingly. I sent her a picture of the yarn and asked her if she thought she knew anybody that might like something made out of that yarn. But yeah, so anyway, Mom's going to be getting a way super bright green top. So I'll talk more about that next time when it's actually on the needles, but that's coming up. And I think that's probably it. So I'm going to be working on those Hamilton socks. I'm going to be working on that green top, and I got to get that I-cord the I-cord handles done for that basket of sunshine. So that's pretty much, I think, all the knitting, which is good, because what I also wanted to talk to you guys about for a little bit is all of the knitting that is going to be happening in the future, because I think I've maybe had a little bit, I don't know, a little bit of a spending problem lately. I have definitely done some positively shameful shopping. In fact, I've always wondered what I want to call this segment. When I show off my acquisitions or lovely things or whatever, lots of different people call them. Yeah, shameful shopping probably could be a good title for this segment, because I have to admit that there have been times these last couple weeks that I almost thought maybe I purchased some things in my sleep, because packages arrived, and when I opened them, I actually almost sometimes couldn't, not that I couldn't remember buying them, but I don't know, like I've really definitely been doing a lot of impulse buying lately, which, all joking aside, I know we all do it. It's not like, it's not like I'm alone in this. I know that is not true, but I definitely think that I want to be more thoughtful and mindful about my purchases coming up. I know the new year, believe it or not, will be here sooner than we would like it to, probably. But when I start thinking about goals for 2017, I think that's going to be one of them. But I'm not going to let that rain on this show and tell parade right now. That is for sure. So I have some stuff to show you guys. And part of the reason that some of this is very exciting is because a lot of these things that I purchased are things that I've been wanting to get or try, or yarns I've wanted to try for a long time. So I'm going to try and go through this relatively quickly if I can. And I'm going to be doing a lot of turning around and grabbing things, so I apologize for that. So, okay, first up. Oh, okay. Finally, we have some homespun house in the house. Okay, this is Molly's soft sock. Okay, her fingering, and this is the Be Quiet. I love this colorway name, Be Quiet and Drive. I wish I knew. I don't remember if on the podcast she explained why she called it this, but I think it's an adorable name, and I think this yarn is just simply lovely. I have no idea what this wants to be yet. I'm thinking socks, but then sometimes when I think socks and I look at, not that socks don't deserve to be knitted up out of pretty yarn, but sometimes when yarn is this pretty, I feel like it needs to not be hidden inside your shoes. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to maybe incorporate this somehow into a shawl, like a 3-colored shawl. I don't know. I've got to think about it, but I have time. But this definitely is something that I want to get cast on sooner rather than later. Obviously, this is 75% merino, 25% nylon. It is really soft and lovely, and I'm really excited to have finally purchased my first skein of homespun house. So that's that. The other thing, too, the other yarn that the other skein that I wanted to share with you, this one is funny. I have actually been I wanted to get myself some yarn for Halloween socks, and I had been kind of looking in a bunch of different Etsy shops and a bunch of people's updates and things like that, because I know that a lot of people have been showing Halloween yarns, even already other holiday yarns, but this one I couldn't resist. And this is another definitely not new to anybody else, but I have never tried Jinx yarn before. So I have my first skein of Jinx yarns, which this is, I love this so much. I don't know if, there we go. You can definitely see the sparkle in there. This is on her Glitz base. This is self-striping sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and of course that 5% of sparkly stellina, which makes these socks like magic socks as far as I'm concerned. But here's what I love about these socks is the name. The colorway is called Rapture. Now, I may be totally dating myself here because some of you maybe aren't as familiar with the band Blondie, of which Debbie Harry was the lead singer. And they had a song, obviously a lot of people would probably recognize Call Me, a bunch of other, more popular tunes. But one of their songs was actually called Rapture. And I'm gonna scroll some of the words up if I can across the screen right now, because when I was growing up and I would sing this song, Rapture, I would actually try desperately to figure out what the hell this song was about. Honestly, it is. They were the most bizarre lyrics ever. There's something about a man from Mars, and he's eating cars and in bars, and now he only eats guitars. It is just such a crazy song. So I love this. So my Halloween socks, because every once in a while I do give a project a special name. So I think these Jinx Yarns socks in the Rapture colorway are actually going to be my Debbie Harry Ween socks. So I don't know that if I could break out into song for you guys, I would. If I could also figure out if you're actually allowed to play bits and pieces of songs on YouTube. I tried Googling that. I couldn't really get a very clear answer. I want to figure that out because, I don't know, would have been fun to have a little background music when I was showing this off and trying to explain to you just how crazy that song was. So anyway, Rapture, gonna be socks, hopefully for Halloween, which means they need to happen very soon. That's that. Okay, what do we have next? Oh, dear Lord. Okay, sock blanks. Oh, my goodness. So obviously, I was telling you my sock blank woes of not being able to get sock blanks, especially the sock blanks I really, really wanted to get at that time. So that is what prompted stubborn old me to figure out, maybe I'll just play around with dyeing my own sock blanks. But in the meantime, I'm not a quitter. That is definitely something I am not. So there were two people's sock blanks that I wanted to acquire badly. One of them, obviously, Andre Sunitz, and the other one from Gail's Art. So what I was able to do was I actually signed up for Gail's Art. She is doing a 3-month special sock blank club. Everything has to do with birds. It's actually really neat. And this one is actually called Flamingo. And I am really excited about this. It's so pretty. I think these socks are going to be an absolutely beautiful color. Look at this. Look at those pretty pink flamingos. Aren't they awesome? There we go. Let's put one right side up. How about that? Okay. Very, very, very cool how she's got the colors working together on this. I just love the pop of that pink flamingo. I think it's adorable. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I'm going to try to put more details about this in the show notes, which might be stinky because I'm assuming this has already started, so you may not be able to get into it if you're interested, but you could definitely check it out. I want to say she even is donating some of the proceeds from these sock blanks. Maybe, I don't know if it's to the Audubon Society, something having to do with birds. I'm sorry that I didn't think to gather all the correct information before I was sitting down to talk to you guys, but I will put that in my show notes. But that's one sock blank that's got to happen at some point. And then, of course, yeah, I have been on a mission to get one of Auntie's sock blanks, and it finally happened. And I'm so excited about the one that I ended up getting because I just remember her holding this up and thinking that this is the cutest thing in the world. To think about putting socks on the actual sock blank, how cute is that? So Andy, thank you so much for your continued creativity because I am really, especially with all of the colors that are in this one, I think this one is really going to knit up very, very cool. So I kind of think it's neat now that I have all these different sock blanks because they all have very different designs on them. So I think it'll be interesting to then put all of the finished socks next to each other and kind of see how it compares. And, again, I'm sort of on a mission to learn everything I can about dyeing these blanks. So I think that'll actually be really cool, really helpful. So Thank you, Andy. I'm so excited that I finally got one of your sock blanks. And let me tell you, man, I was not getting cart jacked that time. That was happening. There was no way if I had gotten cart jacked, I don't know what I would have done because I had tried many times before. So I'm pleased to say that I was finally victorious. So that's that. All right. I think we're winding down here, I'm pretty sure. I just have one more. Oh, these are hysterical. Okay. So one of the things I realized, a little while ago, and that's why I've been getting so many project bags, I realized that I really didn't have very many project bags. And I'm embarrassed to admit that there were times that, I may have actually had a knitting project in a plastic grocery bag, which, don't tell anybody about that. That's embarrassing. That's maybe almost as bad as a tissue box, project box. But I know sometimes as knitters, there are tools, there are things we need. So I've been definitely hooking myself up with that. The other thing that I don't have a lot of are stitch markers and progress keepers. I have definitely started over the last couple years to knit more things that would require using them. So I've been actually on the hunt for really clever, creative stitch markers or progress keepers. So if you guys have any suggestions for me, let me know. But I don't know who I heard about this from. But first of all, how can you not want to buy something from somebody whose name is slapyourllama.com? That is just hysterical. Slap your llama. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up purchasing just this one set of stitch markers. I will show them to you here. Oh my gosh. But they're naughty stitch markers, you guys. These are the stitch markers that I'm going to need when I'm working on a project that is giving me a really hard time, because again, even though I can't always promise that I won't say naughty things on the podcast, because sometimes I do curse like a trucker, but I'm trying really hard not to do that, because I know some people, I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody, but that doesn't mean I can't hold up something that says something dirty. So I'm going to hold up this one, for example. Can you see that? It's awesome. Okay, that one. Let's see what else we have here. This is just, when there are no words for that mistake that you've just made. There's that. These are just, one is funnier than the next. Oh, this one's not so bad. I'm sure we've all said this before. Okay. And then on the back, we've got, oh God, why? Oh God, why? Okay. So I'm sorry, my big fingers are in the way. There we go. These are just funny. They're really cute. I can't describe the material that they're made out of, but they seem to be incredibly durable. They're fun. They kind of make a nice little jingly sound, which I think is great. And I'm so looking forward to using these. What I'm hoping, though, is that in purchasing these naughty word stitch markers, that I haven't just totally jinxed myself, that when I'm using them on a project, all hell might break loose. So I guess I'll have to let you guys know if that theory pans out, but I am hoping that it does not. Okay, so a couple more things, because I want to kind of wrap up this episode, if I can, pretty quickly. But I wanted to share something with you guys. I wanted to share that I have a new obsession. Beside that actually doesn't, for once, have something to do with fiber, right? This time, I actually have been totally binge watching YouTube videos that have to do with the concept of bullet journaling. Okay, I totally blame Get Lit and Knit, because I think I'm pretty sure it was their podcast where they posted a really neat video where there was some bullet journaling going on that was related to knitting projects and things like that. It was actually a really cool, if I can, I'll put a link in my show notes to it, because you might be interested in watching it. what it did was it wasn't a podcast episode. It was just like a little tiny thing. There were no words. It was to music, and it was just watching, kind of the connection between what was in the bullet journal and the knitting and the project work and everything that was coming out of it. So that really inspired me. First of all, I didn't really know too much about bullet journaling. So I think watching that video, which I just happened to click on sort of accidentally, thinking it was, another new episode of Get Lit and Knit. And that was it. Huge rabbit hole. I must have watched countless bullet journaling videos. One of the YouTube channels that I've subscribed to actually is called Boho Berry. I'll put that down. I'll put that in the show notes as well. But if you want to learn what bullet journaling is, it really is basically just a way of trying to plan and be more mindful and just to, give yourself the space and place to kind of get everything down. But in a way that's fun and a lot more creative. What I wanted to just show you real quick, and this is kind of crazy, like this is just a weekly spread that I did for myself, okay? You can kind of see a little things there. There's things in here that actually give me a glance at my week. I can kind of keep, jot down some big things that I want to do at work. I even have a little section here for knitting and the podcast. Jamie and I planned out a whole menu for the week. We wrote that down. I'm experimenting with this, so a lot of it wasn't actually filled in. But then what you also end up doing is you end up getting to the point where you're doing these daily pages too. And then you can even also track like different habits and things, which obviously now I've just revealed to you guys perhaps some of my bad habits. Not bad habits, but some things that I just wish were more, that's exactly it. I wish they were more habitual, where I just did them without thinking. And, anyway, so I love this. But what I really wanted to talk to you guys about is the fact that I'm really hoping that I can use this bullet journal to kind of, like I said earlier in the episode, I want to be more mindful about my knitting. I don't, as much as I love just buying things on a whim or starting a new project because I saw somebody else have it on their podcast or somebody else was working on it in my knitting group and now I want to do it too, I want a better plan. So I'm going to leave some of this more detailed stuff for next week once I flesh this out a little bit more. But, obviously I even have just this double page spread for now. A little bit of, podcast inspiration, okay, where I'm just jotting down some things and, things that I want to do. I actually, even people I want to reach out to. I had wanted to reach out to a couple other podcasters to just say thank you to them. I had wanted to respond to some other people that had reached out to me. So little things like that, I definitely want to see if this works. I love my idea here for Operation Project Bag, which you can kind of see it. What I'm doing is I have a little box for each project that I'm currently working on. And what I'm going to try to do is to not be allowed to work on anything else unless it's on this page. And then as I finish each project, I can color it in and then I can draw a new one and start a new project. Because I feel like maybe at any given time 4 projects wouldn't be horrible. So that's it. So the bullet journaling thing is happening. Even here, this was all my podcast plans for this episode, okay? And it's really neat. One of the other things too, and this is kind of a segue to a hint at maybe a possible future thing I'm thinking about doing for the podcast. But they have a Boho Berry, who is the one of the YouTube channels, ladies that I have subscribed to. In their bullet journal, they do a Rock Your Handwriting Challenge. And it's interesting because I was listening to her talk and she was talking about the fact that, in this day and age, obviously with technology, fewer and fewer, especially, as an educator, it's a really difficult thing to think about for me as I watch these little tiny kids on computers so often. And, not that I'm not arguing that that's not a wonderful, efficient way to communicate. But I do think we are losing the art of handwriting and the art of writing somebody a handwritten thank you note or a handwritten letter. We do everything through texting, email, that kind of thing. So hold that in your head as a little hint, because I'm kind of toying with a little idea that I have. Maybe that would, allow us to do something a little bit fun together on the podcast. So, but I don't think I'll be ready to talk about that probably maybe for another month or so until I figure out all the details. The last thing I wanted to do, I think that's it, is just two other things. One, I wanted to show you one more purchase that I totally forgot about, and that is this skein of Molly Girl yarn that this one I did just buy the other night at my local knitting store. I've realized too, you guys, that it's gotten dark outside, so the lighting now is probably there. That's a little bit better. How gorgeous is that? This is her rock star. This is all completely, let me make sure I'm getting all of the details right on this one. This is the worsted weight. It's 100% superwash merino. It is so soft and squishy. And I must have spent probably 25 minutes. I think this yarn wants to be a hat. That's what it said to me before I bought it. It said, please buy me and make me into a hat. And I just can't find a hat pattern that I think will work really well for this. So, little spoiler alert, I've always wanted to try creating a pattern of my own. So I don't know. I think I love this yarn that much that it might be yarn, because I kind of am assuming that when you're, I speak from no experience, as you can obviously see, I would assume, even though maybe some people might argue that if you're designing a pattern, you might not want to work with, yarn that, I don't want to say that you want to waste it, because what if the experiment goes horribly awry, and now you've ruined a beautiful skein of yarn. But I'm actually thinking of this from the opposite way. This yarn is so pretty that I think if I have to rework it and rework it and rework it, I won't mind it. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. So stay tuned. I'll tell you guys more about that. I don't know if I'm actually going to start that super soon, but hopefully at some point. Okay, so there is one more thing that I totally forgot I wanted to tell you guys about, and it has to do with the spindrift shawl that I showed you guys before. I forgot to mention earlier that I'm actually going to this shawl is going to work perfectly for a cow that I learned about when I discovered a new to me podcast recently, which is Knittin' from the Mitten with Tiffany in Michigan. What a great podcast. I'm really enjoying watching Tiffany. And she actually is co-hosting a Connecting Continents cow with, oh goodness, I have not watched the other, her sort of partner in crime, her counterpart with that knit along yet. I think it's Luke Cookie, the Luke Cookie podcast, if I'm not mistaken. But so much fun. What this cow does is it inspires you to pick a project that involves somehow two continents. I thought this was such a spectacular idea. So in other words, you could maybe knit with a pattern from a designer from one country and a yarn from another country. So that's exactly what I've decided to do with my spindrift shawl, because obviously Helen Stewart is from the UK, and my Black Cat Custom Yarns, she is a Canadian dyer. So voila, there we go. I have a Connecting Continents entry for their cow. So I haven't gotten around to putting it into their Rav group thread yet, but I will certainly be doing that. I wanted to make sure I have this totally blocked, ends woven in, and take a proper picture first before I go ahead and take care of that. But again, it never ceases to amaze me, the creativity that all of you podcasters out there have when you come up with these ideas for cows and things like that. So thank you for that inspiration, because, I'm hoping that as time goes on, I'll be able to come up with some other fun ways to get everybody together and involved as well. So here is the deal. I actually would like to keep this episode definitely under an hour this week. So I'm not 100% sure that you guys are going to get any OMJ time. I know everybody's probably disappointed. You know, I know even when we ran into Val at the farmer's market, it was very obvious. I think probably she was much more excited to meet Jamie than she was to meet me, but that's okay. But Jamie and I, hopefully we will try to, film a little OMJ segment next time for you guys. But for now, I think that's pretty much all that I have. I can tell you one thing. You can't smell it, but holy cow, there is amazing dinner waiting for me downstairs. So that's where I am headed. Today at the farmer's market, we actually bought some pork chops. And I think Jamie did some kind of braised pork chop recipe that just the whole house for the last 3 hours has smelled amazeballs. So I cannot wait to go downstairs and have a little dinner. I've already cheated. I've had a glass of wine, so I guess I won't be probably having any more of that, but whatever. You do what you do when, you want to have some time to just relax and talk to a bunch of people that you don't know. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing everybody next time. And do not forget, find some time during the week this week to pause for those stitches. I will see you guys later. Take care.